Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for clicking on this video. This is Eyes to the Kills, otherwise known as Nick, and today we're going to be talking about DC's League of Super Pets. And just to let you guys know, this is going to be a spoiler review, so just a little bit of a fair warning. It's not going to be a play-by-play, however. We're going to just talk about some things I liked, some things I didn't like, some scenes that really worked, and I don't know if there's too many things I didn't like, to be honest, but yeah, let's dive right into it. Um, the main characters of the movie is Crypto and Ace the Bat Hound. But don't get me wrong, you do get a good amount of time with the members of the Justice League as well. You get a lot of time with Superman. You get a little bit of time with Batman, although I wish we got more time with Batman because every minute Batman was on screen was really great. He did really well in landing the comedic parts of Batman. He was more like the Lego Batman than serious Batman, of course. Superman's character was played by John Krasinski in this movie. Did really well. He played the good old boy Superman really well. Obviously high on the morals. I mean, and cares about his loved ones like Lois. Loves Crypto. Has a really good relationship with Crypto, and they have a lot of good montage. Well, they have a really good montage of Crypto and Superman and what they're doing nowadays. Um, kind of like what they do on a day-to-day basis, where they're saving people and playing games with each other, which I kind of adored. You do get to see Krypton and how Crypto ended up, being with Superman, which we've seen Krypton explode how many times in our history of seeing Superman on the big screen. And they have a really good relationship of dog and owner, um, man's best friend kind of thing. And I adore that because as a formal pet owner, I love pets. I've had many dogs in my life, and one of them, saved my life. And and to this day, I miss her. So I understand the impact of what pets can do to somebody and the positive impact that they can do in somebody's life. But I adored the relationship they had. The storyline throughout the movie was very well done. Um, Crypto ends up being a little bit of jealous because in this movie, Superman and Lois is getting close. They've been dating for a little bit, but they haven't got to the next level just yet. But they're just about to get to that level. And Crypto notices that, and Lois suggests that Superman gets him another friend, maybe another pet, like a dog or something like that. So Superman goes to a shelter, and this is when we get introduced to all the rest of the characters. Kevin's Hearts, Ace the Bat Hound. We get introduced to PJ, who's the pig, who's a really good character. She's really funny, has a really good heart, kind of like the mother of the group. And we get introduced to Squirrel, which is Chip, who ends up later on being a Green Lantern. But it's kind of cool that they added him to be one of the pets. And we also get introduced to the turtle, who also did really well in this movie and had a lot of good, um, scenes that were very, very funny. And we also get introduced to Lulu, who's the antagonist of the movie. She was the guinea pig for Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor was experimenting on her with all kinds of kryptonite. And she misunderstood the experimentation as her and Lex working together. She thought that they were working together and that she was a scientist for him, but it wasn't the case, obviously. Um, Red kryptonite made her lose all her fur, so she's just like a bald guinea pig. But so we get introduced to all the characters, and Ace is trying to escape, and he bumps into Crypto outside, who's dressed as a regular dog, having the Clark Kent glasses on. And Ace mentions that he's in a prison break, and Crypto, after Ace walked past him, well, first bumps into him, but tries to walk past him. And Crypto goes up in the air, changes into Superman gear, stops him because he thinks he broke the law. He kind of delays him by, using like ice to freeze his paws into the ground, which Ace says that's cold, which is a little bit of a funny scene. And he delays him enough time where one of the employees from the shelter grabs him, puts him back in the cage, and we get introduced to Lulu and what her ultimate plan is, which she's created this device, which we don't know what it is until later on. So later, after Superman and Crypto goes back to the apartment, Superman's about to go on a date with Lois. Crypto acts all jealous. It's supposedly movie night, and Superman, about to leave, Crypto starts growling at him, and Superman calls him a bad dog. And I guess this is the first time he's ever called him a bad dog because he got very angry. He's like, "What did you call me?" And he goes into the room, puts on his headsets, and he's listening to Taylor Swift's "Bad Blood." And he starts depression eating like hot dogs and ice cream and watching his TV show. While he's doing that, Superman threw in the little squeaky Bruce, which has a little bit of it has a piece of cheese in it that has kryptonite, which we find out later on. Crypto ends up eating that, which he ends up losing his powers for most of the movie. Superman ends up getting captured after leaving the apartment, and Lulu has superpowers now. And the reason why she has superpowers because earlier Lex Luthor was trying to grab a meteor from space, which happens to be orange kryptonite. And orange kryptonite, he thinks, ends up, making a human powerful, like having superpowers. But Lulu knows that that's not the case, that it actually gives pets superpowers. So during that scene, we get introduced to all the Justice League members, and Batman has a cool entrance because, when they were trying to throw, all the pieces of that orange meteor, kryptonite, kryptonite, they threw it all to space, and Lulu ends up grabbing a shard of it, and it drops into the shelter and ends up giving all the animals at the shelter superpowers. So this is how she got her superpowers. So she ends up kidnapping Superman because she has green kryptonite. She knew where it was. She went to Lex's office and got a piece of it. So she ends up kidnapping kryptonite. I was about to say she ends up capturing kryptonite, but she ends up capturing Superman because of kryptonite, and because Crypto ate that cheese that had kryptonite. When he heard Superman calling for help, he falls and realizes that he doesn't have his powers anymore. So she ends up taking Superman, and Crypto, not having his powers, obviously needs help. So he seeks out and finds the rest of the pets who Lulu had left to die. She thought that maybe they're all dead, I guess. But they're all chilling at the park, and the squirrel is like zapping the air with electricity, and this is how Crypto finds them. And he asks them for help, and they have a little funny scene where Kevin Hart, while Crypto is asking for help, is peeing on his statue of him and Superman, which was kind of hilarious. So they agree to help him, and at this time, Lulu, goes and makes these other guinea pigs have superpowers. So she has like basically a guinea pig superpowered army. And when Crypto recruits all the super pets, they go, and this is already while the guinea pigs have their superpowers already, which they have really cool superpowers. One of the guinea pigs looks like a cross between Fabio and Thor, who's very super strong and buff. I got a kick out of that guinea pig. And then you got a couple other guinea pigs that have like this ice ability and a fire ability, but all very, very funny characters. So they go and try to help the Justice League, who's fighting them at the time, and they all get captured very easily. I think they captured Cyborg by taking a battery out, and the squirrel even says, "How does that even how it works?" So you'll have a lot of parts in this movie where you'll just laugh a lot. So all the Justice League members get captured. The Super Pets fail at stopping them. So Lulu throws Crypto to the Hall of Justice, and this is where Crypto and Ace kind of bond a little bit more because they failed and they know that they need to work as a team, but they need to practice. So they have this little funny montage where the rest of the characters are practicing using their powers. Obviously, they're not good at it. They take the invisible plane, which ends up getting shot down by a character, Whiskers, who was saved by Lulu, who was one of the animals at the shelter, who has very cool powers. It's a little kitty that can shoot missiles and stuff out of her tail and whiskers and all that. So it was really, very much a good action scene, but had a lot of good comedy in it as well, which you don't see nowadays. You don't see good action, comedy, and story and acting all at the same time. So it was definitely a breath of fresh air. So while fighting the kitty, they ultimately stop him. They don't kill him because all cats have 9 lives, and they play that off really well in the scene. And they find out where Lulu or what Lulu's planning to do. And Lulu was, obviously after killing or not killing, after capturing all the Justice League members, she plans to go break Lex out of prison. So they meet her at the prison, and this is a really good scene because Lulu gets Crypto in a situation where she's using her kinetic, telepathic abilities to lift this heavy object over Crypto. And because she's threatening Crypto's life, the rest of the super pets go into the cell to save Crypto's life. Like they have no other choice. And Ace, by the way, has kind of a sad story. Um, the reason why he was at the shelter is because he saved the baby that he was taking care of, who was about to fall down the stairs. And the only way he can save that baby was he had to, basically bite the baby's hand to pull the baby back. And the parents thought that, Ace bit the baby for no reason. So that's the reason why he's there at the shelter. So he lost his family. But yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier. We find out about that earlier in the movie. So he has kind of like a Batman kind of storyline. So they go into the cell, and Lulu traps all of them into the cell. And Lulu releases Lex Luthor. And Lex Luthor, you know, tricks Lulu and gets her trapped in the cell. And he goes off and tries to take credit of capturing all the Justice League members. And he goes and celebrates by, trying to gloat by going to Lex Tower where they're being held. I don't know what he was planning to do with him, but he doesn't get a chance to do much. Lulu, knowing that Lex might do this, had a black backup plan. She calls over to the other guinea pigs, who releases her. So she and the other guinea pigs go over to the Lex Tower and basically traps Lex next to the Justice League members and puts like a little, cone thing on his head like a pet, puts him in like a little hamster contraption. Um, and then Crypto actually ends up getting his superpowers back by passing, obviously the kryptonite out of his system. And he's funny too because he mentions earlier in the movie that his poo doesn't stink, that it actually smells like polished wood or something like that. And Ace notices that he went, I guess, doo doo in his little prison cell and says, "Wow, it does smell like polished wood." So I got a kick out of that. So Crypto ends up escaping out of the prison and releases the rest of them. And he says, very cool little, hero scene. He says, "I started this mission to save one best friend. Now I have five, which is, including everyone. And I want to keep you guys safe." So he goes off and, by himself. Obviously the other members follow him, which is good because he wouldn't be able to do it by himself, obviously because Lulu put him in a situation when they go try to save the Just League's members where he has Lois Lane in a helicopter, or she, I should say, holding Lois Lane in a helicopter, and then she already, using a rocket, shot all the Justice League members, including Lex Luthor, into space. So Crypto has a choice who to save, right? And this is the time where the other super pets come in, and Crypto goes and saves Lois, and he trusts the rest of the super pets to save the Justice League members, which they do, during the fight of Crypto and Lulu, which is a great fight for an animated movie, by the way. They end up saving the Justice League members and, releases them. And she, within the fight, because she's losing to Crypto, um, using the little bit of orange kryptonite that she has, she breaks it down and basically intertwines it with her brain stem and the rest of her brain cells and becomes like this big version of a Lulu, the guinea pig, who is extremely powerful. And Crypto, who, kind of shadowed this previously in the movie where they explained that one of his superpowers is going close to the sun, getting its radiation and basically harnessing all the power into a punch, which will take down any enemy he punches, but also will kill him. So, knowing that, and by the way, Ace, his power is invulnerability. The pig's power is growing, really big or really small, kind of like Ant-Man. And then the squirrel at this moment only has like shocking powers, but later on he's become a Green Lantern because Chip is a Green Lantern. And it's kind of cool that they threw him in a movie as one of the pets because he's actually a DC character. But and the turtle, by the way, is like Flash. He's super fast, So they end up, well, actually, sorry, Crypto ends up as a last option because everyone is in trouble, about to die. He goes up to the sun, gets all of its radiation, gets his punch to be the powerful punch, the one punch. He hits her, and knowing that he's going to probably die, he still does it to save everyone. And Ace shields him as he's being hit by all the rays after the punch. He stops Lulu. Ace saves Crypto. And it was a nice little happy kind of ending to it. Obviously, I missed some things, and there's a lot of comedic parts that I missed, but that's ultimately how they stop Lulu. Everyone has a happy ending, though, which was kind of cool. I'm a kind of sucker for a happy ending. Even Lulu has a kind of a happy ending where um, Lex's assistant um, basically adopts her. So I don't know, kind of sets it up for maybe a second movie. But I absolutely, like I said, I adore this movie. I enjoy this movie from front to back. I mean, from front to back, from beginning to end. I mean, and I think you would too. So I would definitely suggest it. The comedy was on point. All the characters did really well. I haven't laughed this much watching a movie in a very long time, and the action even was very very good. It really was probably one of the best Justice League movies I've seen in a long time. Um, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of Justice League animated movies that are great, but this one was, it was very, very, very good, very refreshing, very funny. Um, had a lot of action, and the whole story, and the friendship and the love, that they put in this, the story itself, was really refreshing to watch. It's nice to watch something that has, a lot of humanity in it, a lot of, good feelings, where you feel the love and you feel the passion, and you feel the relationship between the characters and how close they are and how much they care for each other. And they showed it, and they showed that relationship being built as the movie progressed, which, it's amazing to see actual characters have arcs and growth, and, realize, by the end of the movie, that, whether they were happy or not happy, but they ended up, learning a very important life lesson, which in this movie, obviously, Crypto realizes that he has to let Clark be happy with Lois and not be jealous, and just ultimately be happy for him, and realize that, obviously, there's people out there that cares for him just as much as Lois Clark cares for Clark and him. So it was a nice little story, and with a good little, you know, internal meaning, or, family and friends are going to be there for you. And I think we need more of that nowadays, especially with the world being the world and how it is. I just think we need to spread more positivity and love, especially with the stories, and not having, man hating or women hating or race hating or whatever the case is. It's just really nice to have a movie where none of that is involved. It's just a good, story, that's very entertaining. So that is my initial thoughts. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this review. No, I realize it was probably just a little long, but and I do realize that I kind of jumped to place, but I really enjoyed the movie, and I think you will too. If you guys did like this review, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.